Hey,
Oh,
going on, family?
Not
doing
much.
good. Moving and grooving.
Technically speaking, family.
Mhm.
Dos, uno, cero. Ah, we're here.
No. That's just to wake everybody up because it's
Sorry.
Monday, man. After Monday, they got the Monday blues. You need a little bit of air horn to
Yeah.
wake you up. Speaking of being woke, hey man, I'm awake right now, man. Hey, you know what? We're gonna jump to it, man, because it's Monday night. We got a special guest. You are everyone. You are tuned in to episode 68 of Technically Speaking, where we are giving you news.
That
That
you
you
can
can use.
use.
Hey.
Awesome.
Now we're gonna jump to it. Like I said, we do have a special guest. You see an extra beautiful face on the screen right now. Let me introduce her. So my special guest, our special guest, is a retired budget analyst with the Department of the Air Force, the best branch in the military, of course. Let me drop a bomb on that one.
Air Force birthday was last week, sir.
She holds an MBA and a graduate certificate in life coaching. She's a dedicated community leader and volunteer. She is deeply involved with the National Council of Negro Women. She's a life member of the NAACP and member of the Pact for Black Women Organized for Political Action. Say that 5 times fast.
Nope.
She's currently a community outreach specialist for the Alzheimer Association, charged with educating and bringing awareness of the disease to communities. And that's why we invited her. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a warm welcome for Miss Cheryl Johnson. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful introduction.
You like that?
I like that.
I wrote it.
Yeah, Corey wrote that. That's my co-
You're done good.
No, so Cheryl, I definitely appreciate you joining us, and I just want to give people the backstory. When I was towards my last 6 years in the Air Force, I had a chance to be stationed at Travis Air Force Base with Miss Cheryl Johnson. She was our budget analyst, resource advisor. Anytime I needed that government travel card, she was the one that I had to go through to take my trips and get training and all that stuff. And she always took care of your boy, and we became good friends too. So, and I'm gonna tell you, man, a good mentor was always encouraging me to just always expand my mind. So I've never forgot about that. We've been keeping in touch, and she told me, I don't know what was like the beginning. I don't know, the beginning of the year is when you told me your new role with the Alzheimer Foundation.
Yeah.
Something about that.
Yep. It was beginning of the year because, well, I had actually, when I retired from work in Department of Defense in the middle of COVID in 2020. And so that my brain didn't turn to mush, I decided that I was going to volunteer. And that's how I ended up working or volunteering with the Alzheimer's Association. So I volunteered there for 4.5 years. They had a position open and they said, "Hey, you want to get paid for what you're doing for free?" And I said, "Well, sure. Why not?"
I like that.
And so as of February of this year, I am now staff. Before, I was a community educator. I was on the walk committee, an advocate, and an ambassador for Alzheimer's Association. And now I'm staff, and I don't do any of those other things because I can't, because I'm no longer volunteer.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations again. Heck yeah. And it's funny because we wanted to do something to honor National Alzheimer Awareness Day, and I was like, I got a gal. We need to get you on here, and because Corey always brings this up, he reminds us that part of our mission here is just to give news you can use and help the community. And
Yeah,
Corey, you were saying something earlier, right? That we've seen it in some capacity, right, in different ways, but this is something that we all need to be more educated on, so we could, really take care of each other and take care of our families. So educate us, man. Like, to be honest, I don't know much about the disease, but I think a good place to start is, what is it? Can you educate us on that?
You talking to
Well,
me?
let me start at the very beginning with my story. My mother had Alzheimer's. We noticed some things, some differences in some of the things that she was doing, some of the things that she was saying. And I have 3 brothers. Of course, I'm living in California. She was living in Arizona, but I would call and I talked to her, and our conversations became superficial. It was like, how's the weather? Oh, here, you want to talk to your brother. And my mother and I always had a really great connection because I was the only girl. And so I said, no, something's going on. So I go there, and my mother is a caregiver for my father who had stage 4 cancer. So it was so easy to just dismiss some of the things that she was doing and saying by saying, oh, she's distracted because she's taking care of dad. So, she's got a lot on her mind. So she's taking care of dad. So don't worry about it. She's just getting older. It's okay. Well, it's not okay as far as I was concerned. She gets in the car. She goes to the store, which is about 2 blocks away, and cannot remember how to get home. The police brought her home, and she was confused. She was agitated. She was totally just, not herself, not the normal calm person. You could tell that there was confusion within her because she couldn't understand what was going on. Well, took her to the doctors, and they said, well, if you get this old, you'll probably have the same thing. Just go home and just live your life. Wrong answer. That's not the right answer. And that's one of the issues that we have now with not having doctors that have been trained properly to be able to not only diagnose, but also for them to have a treatment care plan for anyone who has a form of dementia. Well, she lived 14 years with dementia. He initially said it was mild cognitive. Well, there are stages to dementia. You start off with mild cognitive, the mild cognitive, then you go into dementia, and then you go into a moderate and then a severe. And when you get to the severe, that's normally when your body starts to shut down and there's no more communication or anything. So death is inevitable. Well, with Alzheimer's, there is no cure anyway. So it's just a very long journey, a very long goodbye. And that's how I started my first experience with Alzheimer's. And when I decided to volunteer, it was because I did not want anyone to have to live with or deal with the doctors that I dealt with, not having the advocate for my loved one, not having a care plan in place for my loved one, and not having the understanding of how I was supposed to react to what was happening to her. So that is my story on how I got to be with Alzheimer's.
No, and thank you for that honesty, because I never knew that, and I appreciate that, because what you said, right, is that having that advocacy and knowing what to do, because I mean, I've seen different versions of that all the time. Like, hey man, auntie, man, she just crazy, right? That's just something we say back home, but it's not that. It's deeper than that. So it's very enlightening. Thank you. I mean, that illuminated some stuff for me. I'm like, oh man, like that's why we need you here, so we can get the word out there to be like, no, it's more than that. It's really about when you start seeing those signs that you were talking about.
Right.
We need to step up and start doing some stuff. I actually have an auntie she's kind of, I think, that middle phase. The last time I talked to her recently, it was just like that. Hey, how's it going, auntie? I'm excited. Like, hey, she's like, oh, it's Jerry, because my family calls me Jerry. It was like, yeah, it's me, and I'm trying to like, oh, I miss you, auntie. She's like, okay, I'm gonna watch TV now. She just gave the phone away, right? And it sounded similar to what you just said. So this is something that's in our lives, and we definitely need that education. So I appreciate that. So I'll open it up to the rest of the team, whoever may have some questions for her real quick.
Right on.
Who's going first?
I have several questions. I didn't write them
too.
down because I mean, I like I said, I have an uncle who's dealing with this, and I want to know is like, they say your brain is a muscle, right? So what happens if the person, you said they're mild cognitive, right?
Right.
So do we like be cautious of the communication that we have? We don't try to talk to them about things that will frustrate them. Like say, so did you check your bank account? Did you do all these things? No, do we just go ahead and just check in with the normalities? Like, how you doing? Did you eat yet? Are you hungry? Like, how do we navigate a space like that?
Well, first of all, you meet them where they are because, and most importantly, don't hold them hostage to who they used to be because they're not that person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
During the process with my mother, I mourned my mother's passing twice. I mourned her passing as she lost her memories of who we were in her life. And then, of course, when she transitioned. But the key is to meet them where they are. And it's not to say that it's the whole time of our 14-year journey was horrible, because it wasn't, because she laughed, she would dance, she loved music, we played games, keeping her engaged. But as far as your uncle is concerned, don't argue with him. If he says there's a fly and you see that there's no fly, swat it anyway.
Okay.
Meet him where he is. Don't cause him to get agitated. And that's one of the real big problems, because men tend to get really agitated and they become violent. And my mother was always a real calm and a sweet kind of person. And so she never really got to that point. But you have to meet the person where they are. And as far as his accounts and everything are concerned, someone needs to step up. You need a plan.
Well, no, his my mother-in-law, his sister, she moved in. He moved in with her, so he's her caregiver. He's making sure everything's okay. But I mean, he still, goes out to the gardening. He does his gardening. He knows how to fix his own food. Uncle Dennis is doing good, but I'm just like, it just, it's real.
It is real.
Yeah.
It's different when everybody knows it's different when it hit homes, but it's different when it hit homes and it's hit home close.
What kind of dementia has he been diagnosed with?
That I'm not 100% sure, because I mean, I know that like I said, he remembers everything, but sometimes he'll forget. Like, he'll try to go out the house late at night, right? Like, I'm going to go
sundowners. Yeah. Sundowners, they get up and they start milling around at nighttime. Here's another interesting thing. Okay, so when you go through the 10 signs, the 10 warning signs, there can also be like, you ask yourself the question, what's happening in his life? Has there been any big changes? Are there changes in medication? Has he changed a change in his health? Because even though they may exhibit the signs, it may not be dementia. It could actually be something else that is mimicking the signs of dementia. That's why it's so important. The first signs, when you see something, say something, take them to the doctors, have them to go in and have them to check their medical history to make sure that there's no medications that may be having a side effect. You want to make sure that they do the cognitive test that they go through and do, and if necessary, a neurologist, and have them do an MRI or a PET scan. But you don't want to leave it to chance if there's an opportunity for you to slow down the process.
Got it. And at the present time, like, okay, I'm sorry. I'll let everybody else take it.
Get it out. We got plenty of time. Get it out.
Like, as of right now, there's no obviously there's no cure, because you said it's the long goodbye.
Right.
However, have you ever heard of studies that, like miracle situations happen where it miraculously went away, or miraculously like stayed in one the cognitive stage for a longer period of time?
Yeah, actually, and that's an interesting question. I'm glad you asked that, because it really depends on the person. Because preventive medicine, well, we're finding that to prevent is all about your lifestyle. lifestyle changes. And it's unfortunate that you look at the population that actually has being affected by dementia. And I keep, and let me say this. Okay. So dementia is the umbrella. And within the umbrella, there are different types of dementia, which is why I asked you, what has he been diagnosed with? Alzheimer's just happens to be the most common. You probably heard in all the news the frontal lobal that Bruce Willis has, right?
No.
That there's vascular.
Can you explain
Hodgkin.
that? I've never heard that before.
Oh, that about Bruce Willis?
No, you said something about a frontal lobe. Yeah, I
Yes.
never. What are you guys talking about? What is that?
It's a form of dementia.
Oh, but okay, that it just affects the frontal lobe or something. What is the frontal lobe?
Your
Okay.
memory, all of your memory.
Oh, your memory.
Yeah, all of your memory, all of your processing. It's not fully developed until you're 25 years old. So your frontal cortex development, frontal lobe. I know about that because I talk to my kids.
I'm not super educated on like the body and physiology and brain stuff, so I just want to make sure I understood what you were talking about.
Fair.
Well,
fair.
no worries. I'm not a doctor.
No, legit question.
I'm not a doctor either. I just know the different types and how they affect, and the vascular. We have vascular, of course, and Parkinson's. A really good friend of mine, her husband used to play football for the Chicago Bears, I think it was. Chicago somebody. I don't follow sports, so I don't know. So anyway, he now has Parkinson's, which has now started to transition into dementia.
Oh, wow.
And that goes back to taking care of your head and hits. I mean, we don't know how many of our sports, people that actually, because of the hits that they've had in the head, have actually developed dementia. A lot of them develop Parkinson's, though.
Interesting.
But it just goes that, there are things that you have to do for the risk. Did you know that a hearing loss can develop into dementia? If you're not hearing things, you're not socializing, you become isolated, and it affects your brain. There's so many different things that we do, but lifestyle change is probably the most important. Exercising, keeping your brain active, making sure that you're eating healthy. They call it the mind diet now, which is the Mediterranean and the DASH diet. That you're supposed to change up on what it is that you're eating. I stopped eating red meat altogether, and I only eat fish. But that was because my stomach just didn't particularly care for red meat. But I feel so much better now than I did when I was actually eating red meat and pork and things like that.
So, I'm sorry.
That was going to be one of my questions is because I heard you say that there's like no long-term cure for this, but a lot of people are being medicated and spending a lot of money on medications and stuff. So I'm wondering if there are any herbal alternatives that you heard of or are aware of that you can maybe share with us for those who, because for me, I'm not a big medical pill popper guy. If there's like an herbal thing that I could take or a diet suggestion, I would definitely be for that.
Good question.
Yeah.
That is an excellent question, because you know that you hear about, what is it, the ginkgo biloba?
Ginkgo.
Yeah, that they say that Asians have been taking it for years and years, and most recently I was talking to a lady that was saying that her husband was taking the Goli matcha for his cognitive issues, but if you look at any of those bottles, anything that they're selling on the shelf, none of them are FDA approved.
Oh, really?
You really don't know what you're getting, and it's not really regulated. So you may get one bottle that works fine, and the next one does nothing for you.
Oh, wow.
But and that's the interesting thing about it. There's so much that's out there. There's so many things that they claim that will take care of the of dementia, but none of it has actually. Where are the clinical trials? I need to see something that proves
Yes.
to me that this is actually going to work. Which brings me to the interesting thing of clinical trials. African Americans are not in the clinical trials, but we're expected to take the medication that comes from the clinical trials, but we don't know if that medication is actually going to be effective. Because you remember, we have all of the other things, the diabetes, the hypertension, vascular disease.
Yeah.
You have all of those things. So, how do you know without having us in the clinical trials? And we happen to be 2 times as likely to get some form of dementia.
Right.
And Latinos are 1.5 times more likely to get dementia. And to top it all off, 2/3 of all of the people with dementia are women.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, my mom's grandma had dementia. It's weird
Right.
hearing you say those things about how you have to coddle them and agree with them and not cause them to argue back. Yeah, man, it's scary.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
I was just talking to Geronimo, I think the other day, was like, because my mom, even though she doesn't have dementia, she had a stroke about last year, and then she had back surgery this year. And then I'm like, it's not, I'm the parent now because I'm like, sit down, stop moving. You just got out the hospital. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm like the parent, and she's like the child.
Mm,
Okay, I have a
yeah.
question.
And we have now, yes.
Go ahead, Cheryl. Finish your statement.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the things that we're finding now is what we call the sandwich generation. It's the kids that are taking care of parents or grandparents, the younger generation. And also, it's no longer an old person's disease, because there is now early onset dementia, where there are 40 and 50-year-olds
Sheesh.
that are being diagnosed with dementia. Most recently, there was a 19-year-old that was diagnosed with dementia. And what makes it hard is that because this is an old person's disease, that it's more difficult to get a diagnosis so that you can get a management care plan to take care of your life.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy, man. You blowing my mind right now.
Yeah.
Dang. What question did you have, Bobby?
Cheryl, are there studies to show that any childhood trauma could be linked to some either early onset Alzheimer's later on in life or even dementia?
I don't know of any trials, but I can tell you personally that any child trauma can trigger anything. I've worked with a woman that deals with ACE, and it's mind blowing how
What's
the
ACE?
traumas
What's that?
that we have
What's that?
affect us. Oh, ACE, it's adolescence. Oh, you're gonna ask me that. It's adolescence is it adolescence crisis?
So it's some type of organization that works with you?
It's an organization that she deals with children who've lived through traumas, childhood, adolescent traumas.
Okay.
Adolescent crisis experience, maybe?
Thank you. Yay.
Hey.
Ding, ding, ding. Hit her with the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Please don't hit me with a bell.
We'll hit you with this.
There you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'll take that.
But even if and I'll take it one step further, there are traumas that are in the DNA of African Americans that are not even realized or are even acknowledged. There's trauma that's through childhood, through life experiences. I mean, who knows? because we don't really, with the whole study of Alzheimer's, it's all so new. Think about the medications that we have now. We've got 2 medications that are approved by FDA. One came out in 2023 and the other in 2024.
Wow.
Wait, well, hold on. Wait, well, hold up. We got 2, and they both been released within the last 4 years?
Yes.
What?
And that's the first time of the medicine being released. Okay.
I'm sorry, you just blew my mind. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
They there was one that was released, I want to say in 2019 maybe, but it's discontinued. And so now they've got the other 2, and these 2 through the clinical trials have proven that they can, one can depend, well, it of course depends on the severity, because you have to get caught in your early stages. They don't work if you're in the latter stages. So if you're in the early stages, they can actually slow down the process.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But that's still not a cure.
Not a cure.
No.
Yeah, dang.
So it's a treatable situation, but not a curable situation.
Right.
What other questions did you have, Bobby?
I wanted to know in your experience, if you think that you have a parent who is showing signs of Alzheimer's, what could we be doing now to encourage there be a care plan in place, or maybe even a medical power of attorney in place, in order to be able to advocate for them once they become to a state where they can't take care of themselves medically?
If you have a person that you, and not even a parent, if you see a friend or the parent of a friend, you want to make sure that you ask the questions. Okay, who should have the conversation? Am I the only one seeing this? Are you seeing this as well?
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we get everything in order. We need to have a medical power of attorney. We need to make sure that all of your documents are in one place. Can you imagine not being able to find any of the documents at all, that you would be able to take care of this person's livelihood? And you want to make sure that you get the diagnosis. Everything starts with the diagnosis. If you can get a diagnosis, then you can go in and you can become that person's guardian, and you'll be able to take care of everything for them. But you have to have a plan. And I think, when we hear people say, because some people say, well, that medicine is only going to give them maybe a couple of more years before they go into, the moderate or into the severe. 2 years is a lot of time to plan your life, to plan how you want to spend the rest of your life, for you to plan who you want to take care of you for the rest of your life. Those things are important, because it gives you a little bit more time to love on those people that have been loving on you before you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah, I'm taking. Hey, we said this recently on the show, man. Every day counts. Every minute counts. So man, if I could get an extra 2 years, I'm taking that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
No, that's important, and I'm taking notes because I'm learning. Medical. You said to get that care plan. This was off your question. Get that medical power of attorney. I translated just kind of in summary what you said. Work as a village, because if we're a community, right, and we're watching each other, we gotta take care of each other. Even as a friend, I took that down, and most importantly, get that diagnosis.
Right.
I appreciate that. I'm taking notes, man, because like I said, I think most of us here got people in our family that are showing these signs. So I'm like, man. Yeah. So when we get the diagnosis, when it comes to care, like how do we get help with that? Come into like the Alzheimer's Association. How do they help with that?
Well, we have an 800 number 24/7. They speak, I think they said they got 600 languages.
Wow.
You can call, and a lot of it depends on where you are. in your journey and the type care that you may need, you may still be able to stay at home, but then there's some that have to have 24-hour care.
Mhm.
So it really, it depends on where you are in your journey. I found out the other day from one of a student at Merritt College. She's a fellow for Us Against Alzheimer's. They actually have a brain guide. I believe it was brainguide.org or brainguide.com. You go on there and it asks you these questions and you answer the questions, but then there's also questions for your loved one, because sometimes people don't want to accept the fact that there may be something wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they will distract, or they'll just either distract you, or they tell a joke, make it funny, do something silly, just to take your focus off of what's really happening. It's like squirrel, 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 squirrel kind of thing.
Mhm.
So what's important is when you see it, like I said, you see something, you just have to say something.
Yeah. No, appreciate that. And I was recently guilty of that. I've been sick for a little while. It turned out I had bronchitis. I probably should have went to the doctor sooner.
Whoa.
I'm guilty of that, right? I should have went a lot sooner. And that it starts that small to where, I mean, even if we start noticing signs in ourselves, man, we need to go get help. I think a lot of us tend to be in denial, mostly men. I think we're the worst at that. But we need to get past that. Yeah.
That's actually really good. It would kind of lead to my next question, which what are some major symptoms that we could be on the lookout for in a loved one or a friend that would say, hey, maybe we can go to the doctor and take a look because I'm noticing something, because I love you. I want you to take care of yourself. Or, what are some of those symptoms we can be on the lookout for?
Yes.
I think the main one, the major one, is probably exhibiting changes that disrupt your life, that just like totally disrupt your life. Bad decisions, not remembering dates, not remembering important events. That would be probably number one. Not being able to follow through with a plan of action or something that you're familiar with. Here's a great example. Your mother's been making this absolutely amazing apple pie. She goes in to make the apple pie and can't remember the recipe. Of course, she's never had to write it down because she knew it by heart.
Heart, right?
Yeah.
That's a sign. Not finding your way home, like my mother, who got in the car and went and could not find her way home. I had a conversation with another person who said that his mother got in the car, went to the store, and then she came home walking with the bags. She couldn't find the car, but she could find her way home.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
That's scary.
And so he walked home. Other things would be not taking care of yourself. A person who normally would have been very clean, just seeing the house turn to a wreck, and they're not taking baths, they're not taking care of themselves, struggling with vocabulary. They're in the middle of a conversation and it's like they know the word, but it won't come out.
Ooh, don't tell me that. I do that all the time.
Dude, yeah, you just scared me because I find myself, I'm like,
I do it all the time.
What's dang it, I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry. No, see, we can't even contain it. You're sparking a lot of questions, Cheryl. Go ahead, Corey.
I'm thinking, is there certain exercises like you can do for we see, I know I see these brain games on my phone. Sometimes I download them just so it can be able to keep me cognitive, keep me sharp.
Yes.
And then I had my mother doing crossword puzzles because when she had her stroke, I wanted to make sure that, because it was on the right side of her brain, not the left side. Well, no, it was on the left side of the brain, which is affected her right. So I wanted to make sure that she was like being able to bounce back, right? Because it wasn't a big stroke, but it was a stroke. So I had her reading, doing crossword puzzles, and now she can write with her left hand, write with her right hand. She can read like she did before she had the stroke. I was wondering, is there cognitive measures we can put in place, like, you know, some things that can help us stay sharp?
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing all the right things. You're keeping her engaged.
Yeah.
You've got her brain. She's working her brain, because remember we said it's a muscle.
Yeah.
She's working her brain. You've got her. I'm assuming you've got her on a good diet, and you're exercising with her. Get her up. Let her dance. Put on some music. Start dancing around the room. Any movement is better than no movement at all.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I have one of the ladies that works with me, who's she's one of my volunteers. She has been having mini strokes and had no idea. I had never heard of a mini stroke, but she's been having mini strokes, and now she has been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment because of the mini strokes. But you are doing all the right things to keep her engaged, to keep her mind going, because that's what's really important. Making sure that you don't let the television babysit your person.
That part.
Say that again. Say that again, please.
Do not let the television babysit your person.
Yeah. You know, I see that way too many times with the, you know, elder people we got to take care of, but also the younger people too. We tend to just escape and give that responsibility to screen. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Because man, oh my gosh.
What other questions you got, Bobby?
I wonder if there's been an uptick or notice in our veteran population of early onset Alzheimer's due to the different types of stresses related to our job, that maybe we don't realize it. We compartmentalize trauma, and it actually comes out later on as we get older.
You know, that's an excellent question. And I don't know if there's ever been a study that they actually took the different demographics other than race to see, you know, who was being affected the most. But like I said before, my thoughts are any type of trauma can manifest itself in any form or fashion in our bodies.
Well,
Especially with depression. Depression is an isolation. You have a number of military. I know we have a lot, because I live right outside Travis Air Force Base. We have a lot of veterans that are unhoused.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Extremely unfortunate.
And I'm glad you asked that question, Bobby, because I was thinking that when you were talking about trauma from childhood, I was thinking in the back of my mind, well, what about veterans and PTSD? I would imagine there's some parallels there.
Yeah.
But there's not that many studies that's been done about that, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're stubborn.
Yeah, right. Because men don't do that. They don't want to have anything, and especially Black men, because of the traumas of Tuskegee and everything else that's happened in history. And it's like, no, I'm not going in there and let them poke and prod me, because know, they're going to be injecting me with something that's lethal or something to that effect. And then, you know, something else too, alcohol intake. Alcohol intake can actually kill your brain cells. Now, one of the two things, though, with Alzheimer's, the proteins. They have proteins that are in the brain, which actually cause the tangles on the nerves in the brain, which are associated with Alzheimer's. But if you're in the military and your whole life is drinking, I mean, how many brain cells have you killed already?
I haven't killed that many, I don't think.
Excellent point.
I don't think so.
I got some other friends that are extreme alcoholics. Like they're heavy alcoholics.
You'd have to be quite extreme, and some of the I'm telling you, Gmo he can attest to this. We have seen some that were extreme in the
She's not
alcohol
lying.
intake.
So,
I wonder.
Go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
I wonder. This brings up the idea that what is the what are Veterans Affairs doing to like either promote or talk about this within our community to get us the help that we need as we get older, if we happen to meet that stage of our life. How are they coming into
Excellent
community
point.
with us?
Excellent point, because I'm gonna need that help for real.
I'll do some research.
Please, because from what I've understood, the Veterans Administration pretty much turns their back on you after you get to a certain age.
Sheesh. So then we would have to come over to the Alzheimer's Association anyway. So now I feel like since it seems like the Alzheimer's Association is like the go-to place, then we got to talk about funding, right? Because money ain't nothing is free in this world, unfortunately. Talk to us about there's a walk, the walk to end Alzheimer's. What's that all about?
Okay, the Walk to End Alzheimer's is actually the world's largest fundraiser for Alzheimer's research, for care, and just for support for the caregivers, because there are billions of dollars of unpaid wages for people that are caring for their loved ones. So we advocate for those individuals, whether they be the patient or the caregiver. But we have a walk, and there are about 600. Last I counted, there's about 600 walks that are throughout the country. As a matter of fact, this is walk season right now. I've got 2 walks that I've got to do in October. And they just one last, I have my team called Johnson's Dream Team. The dream is a world without Alzheimer's. But just here in Northern California, we've got 16. There's 16 in Northern California. There are, I know that there's the western, there's 3, I think. North Coast 1, Bay Area 6, because I'm in one of the ones in the Bay Area. Where's the other ones? North and Central Valley has 8 of them. And all of these are to to get funds so that we can continue research. And we actually have about 35 research centers that are within the country that are actually doing the research. One of the ladies at my church, her sister had Alzheimer's. And so she is now in a clinical study, and she is donating her brain to science.
Wow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Dr. Poole had a question.
I'm just curious if there's no cure for this and we continue to invest in trying to come up with a cure, even though we're saying that there is no cure. Is it right for you guys to say and call your walk a walk for a cure, knowing that there's no cure out there?
They could have said the same thing about cancer.
Well, people have survived and been treated from cancer.
You're absolutely right. And it was through research and through fundraising. And I used to walk in the Relay for Life every year so that we could end cancer. And it's the same process.
So we can create a cure. You're saying there is a cure out there?
For cancer. I'm sorry.
So you're saying that we can come up with a cure. We can actually create a cure for this? Because earlier you were saying that there is no cure for this, but you think that we could actually create a cure for this?
I believe that we can, just like, as I said, just like we did with cancer. People used to die from cancer, and through research, they came up with a cure. There are different management plans. There are different treatment plans for cancer, depending on the type cancer that you have. Why can't we do that with Alzheimer's through research and clinical trials? Why would it be so impossible to do that if we can cure those other diseases?
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, we're definitely not going to do it if we don't keep trying, right?
Exactly.
Right.
we got to try.
We got
you know
to.
what I'm saying? Because it's affecting us. You know, you got to find a way. You know, if there's a treatment right now, apparently there'll be a cure later. Because at one point in time there was a treatment for cancer. Now there's a cure for cancer.
Yeah,
Right.
it has to go in phases, right? I mean, sheesh, we just got the medication 4 years ago, so I would imagine it may take some time. It would be nice to see it in our lifetime, but at least as long as we continue the walk to end it, because we're walking to end it, and I guess I need to look in locally here, Bobby. We need to look out where are those groups out here, man. We can get involved because this is something I'm like, man, like I don't think anyone is going to be able to avoid this our entire lives, man. So I'm like, you got me thinking. I'm like, I need to get in one of these walks, man. So to do my part to try to help end it.
And Cheryl, you said something to Donald's point. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that there's been, I mean, right now there's no cure, but we've seen in other cultures across the world where I've seen it. Even it's a show on Netflix where there's people living to 100. They're doing so many things in different parts of the world. And you said diet is one of the situations, but could it also be like stress management and things like that?
Ooh, good question.
I think and stress, it goes back to even with trauma. Stress, depression, anxieties, all of those things play a part in us and how our body reacts to different things. Sleep, something as simple as sleep, not getting enough sleep can cause you to actually be affected adversely. But social contact, another one. Who thought if you isolate yourself and you don't participate in anything social, that could actually affect? But it can, because we are all social people. We are, as you said, the village, and we need to take care of each other. And who knows why it hits one person in a family, but it doesn't hit another. Have now that just came out biomarkers, and it's not readily available yet. But you can now take a blood test to tell if you have those biomarkers that you may in fact have Alzheimer's, or you may eventually develop Alzheimer's.
And is that something that came by some of the research from the Alzheimer's Association?
Absolutely.
Hey, that's what's up. We getting there, baby. Come on now. That, like I say, hey, we got to keep trying. We got to keep trying. So how can one? Is that something that? Like, how do you get that? How do you get access to that?
And like I said, it's one of those things that it's just started. It's been approved by the FDA. But again, doctors don't know. Doctors, you can go into your doctor and you can ask him for one, and he'll look at you like you're crazy. And then we don't know if the insurance companies are going to pay for it either. But in a clinical trial, you don't have to worry about it.
You would have to sign up for a clinical trial, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
Donald, did you have another question?
No.
I did have another question.
I mean, I could come up with a question though.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
It's a great topic, you know. Really open your mind.
I want to know more about these biomarkers. So, I mean,
for real.
I feel like that's something that can maybe lead to maybe even a longer term care plan, maybe prevent it and delay it longer, like preventative measures. Like, but what my takeaway right now, correct me if I'm not understanding this the right way. If you wanted to get access to the biomarkers, then you probably need to volunteer for some clinical research.
Probably, yeah.
Unless you're Caucasian, because they've already been doing tests on the Caucasians, right?
Right.
No, I mean, legit.
That's a legit question, because that's what my question was about.
Yeah.
Is it purposely not being pushed for the clinical trials in the urban communities for Blacks and Brown, or is it just because of the fact that we don't have the knowledge of it?
It's the fact that we do not trust the medical profession.
But if someone says, look, I'm willing to try this because I've seen what happened to my auntie, my uncle, my mom, my grandma, so they can go ahead and if they say they want to go, they won't be denied because of the fact that
Oh no. Oh no, no. As a matter of fact, the push, and which is why I'm always beating the streets, is to get more people into the clinical trials.
Got
And
it.
especially if you're considering when they say 2/3 are women, and the majority, a disproportionate amount of those are Black women.
Right.
Why? And there isn't a time that I'm doing a presentation that and by the way, I specifically we're not supposed to say DEI, but my area is the Black and African American community. But there's not a time that I'm not doing a presentation that somebody doesn't say, well, why is it only affecting us?
Yeah.
I can't answer that.
I can probably answer it, but
I
you
have
know,
some thoughts on it.
it'll be very
Okay.
biased. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot more stressors on the Black woman than it is in a lot of early areas in the urban communities. You know what I'm saying?
Diet also.
You know what I'm saying? Diet could be one, definitely diet.
Yeah, that's our biggest cultural issue is our eating and the things that we intake as Black
But
community.
that's one. That's one. But then you know what I'm saying? Feeling like they don't belong in the area. Because a lot of you know what I'm saying, a lot of that is happening over periods of time. You know what I'm saying? I'm the advocate, right? I believe in everybody should be able to have a seat at the table and a microphone, right? You know what I'm saying? And what I hear when everybody has their microphone and are at the table, they're not feeling protected. Not by one side, not by the other side, but by all sides.
Yeah.
Then they're neglected by their children, right? So with those stressors and that type of mentality, not saying it's true for some and the others, but when you get that feeling, then other things happen because your body tells you things, right? Like, no, think about it like this. If a woman doesn't, you know what I'm saying, a woman has menstrual cycles, right? You know what I'm saying? If their menstrual cycle goes longer than the normal, then they have to take certain type of medicine. Sometimes they even have to take birth control to regulate it, right? Because of the fact that they're in pain. And then they deal with these things. And I'm just saying, it's a whole lot of things where I see it.
Yeah.
And when, like I said, when I have everybody at the table with their microphone, I hear more of pain from that side than pleasure.
Yeah. Would you just take in that and summarize that, because you kind of said the top two demographics was women and then Black women. Was he saying, can you relate to that and kind of match that to those statistics that you were giving?
Absolutely. Women, especially Black women, have always been the caregivers. We're always taking care of someone else, always neglecting our own needs, neglecting our bodies. We feed the family before we feed ourselves. Goes back to traumas. I mean, and I think that the stress of just being Black in America is enough of a stressor. But then you add to it the fact that we have the other health issues that go along, the obesity, the heart conditions, the diabetes. I mean, all of these hypertension. Yes.
So it all starts with the diet, man. So many things could change with and not just for Alzheimer's, with everything starts with your eating habits, man. Yeah. And this is just what I'm learning over the last year or two. Like, it's all in your food.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. No, I mean, so man, and it's crazy because anytime you talk about the urban areas, it's like that, right? Because some of those urban areas had food deserts, right?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. So
or EBT programs, and EBT doesn't offer health food. You know, it's normally only junk food with that EBT card.
I beg to differ on that one.
Oh, okay.
They're now, just recently now, a lot of farmer market, they encourage EBT, they encourage food programs because of the fact of situations like this. Because,
awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, good.
Especially in Inglewood, Compton, and Watts, there's more McDonald's on the corner than there are churches. And you know, in LA, every city has it. Every street got a church. But now they're doing pop-up farmers markets over in these same communities, giving out free food, giving out free groceries, giving out clean, healthy groceries, and doing farmers market. And if you have an EBT card, you'll be able to get twice as much if you did with cash.
That's good.
And I experienced that because I was like, hey, hold on, I got cash. Why can't I get? It's like, well, unfortunately, we're really trying to give this to the communities with EBT. And I was just excited about that. Go ahead, Dr. Poole.
Yeah. No, yeah, there's a program. I don't remember who was talking about it. It's like a government thing, but like they're trying to issue that with the EBT cards to try and help people's health to where they're not allowed to use it to buy like snacks and junk food, because a lot of and it's not just colored, but a lot of poor people, that's what they do. They go to the 7-Elevens because that's what's in their neighborhood, and they buy what they could get at the 7-Eleven. And that's what's keeping them unhealthy. And so now, but you're right. I hope that there are more outlets like that, because for those barren places where there's only Walmarts and 7-Elevens, there are no healthy food choices for them to go. And I hope that there are more being built.
Yeah.
Or, especially in like, urban communities and neighborhoods. Yep.
I'm with that 100%. I mean, because it seems like it's the root of all illnesses, right? Is the diet. And it's good that they're allowing the EBTs to be used for stuff like that, because especially the people who need help buying food, it's nice to be able to give them access to healthy food. Would you agree, Cheryl?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the Black churches are have the food giveaways. And this is one of the things that I found extremely interesting. Okay, so I know of 3 huge Black churches. Hey, well, Chimo, you know about Mount Calvary. Okay, so you got Mount Calvary, you've got St. Stephen, you've got Bethel. They have these huge Black churches. Food giveaway, you never see Black people in line.
Huh.
Where is that at?
Oh,
because I know
that's up in the Bay Area, right?
Up in the Bay Area? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know because I was a part of a food organization giveaway with my buddy Pastor Antoine, and we targeted Black and Latino communities because of the fact that we know that obviously, we know the problems. There's a lot of food that's being shoved down their throat that ain't healthy for you. So what we did was we did it in the heart of Inglewood at my church's YMCA. They bought the YMCA, so we did it, and a lot of Latinos showed up, but the Black community did not.
Huh? Why is that, Cheryl?
I would love to know.
Yeah.
Is it pride? Is it? I'm too proud to.
I think the pride button was pushed on that because of the fact that they didn't want to be seen as, oh, I can't do this. Now, some Blacks brothers and sisters showed up. The younger ones showed up more so than the older ones. You know what I'm saying? Besides the ones from the church who was coming to pick up, you know what I'm saying? Those are the elderly ones, or seasoned ones, I like to call them. But we didn't get them throughout the community. We just had the brown. We had the brown and the I believe there's a Pakistani community over there too, and it was just Black. It was just them.
And that's what we got. The brown. The brown show up and have no problem whatsoever to feed their family, but we don't show up, and it's in our neighborhood at our Black church.
And I think that's what the goal is for one of my missions, is to get our communities to show up and show up together. Because if you
bring someone, even if you don't need it, maybe grab someone and take them to help them out, right?
Yeah.
That part. Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
You sure just say that part?
That part.
That's Auntie CJ right there.
And that's what it's all about, man. That's the whole mission of the show, man. We put this together to help each other out, man. Because I'm like, but you know what though? I remember being young and our family was broke. And mom, you better not say nothing about it. You're not gonna air out our laundry, right? So I remember those days being broke, and my mom would tell me, you better not ask for no food when you go to that person's house.
Like,
I'm hungry though.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta let that pride go. And the reason why it's so important to let that pride go, Cheryl, is because we need to talk about resources. We're gonna wrap this up talking about the resources available for care. What can you share about that? Starting with the Alzheimer associations, and then from there, like where should we be looking for to get those resources for care?
And that is so important, because depending on the amount of money that that person has that they can contribute, I'll tell you that to go into, if you can't stay in your home, and it's necessary for you to go to an assisted living or to one of the other places, they're going to start off at like 10,000 a month.
Ooh.
That's unless you want to just drop your loved one off at a place that you would not want to go to.
Yeah.
But it's going to start at 10,000 a month.
But one thing, because I looked into care for my mother, one thing, because she was married to my stepfather, who was a veteran, so she gets his veteran assistance. They will cover it if you're a widow of a veteran. They will cover housing,
and that's beautiful. But if you're not that lucky to be a spouse of a veteran, then what else is there available, Cheryl?
Yeah, we actually do have a number of, and this you can get them through the list through the number, but we do have a number of organizations that will give they call them scholarships, so that you would be able, they could supplement your care at some of the facilities. And there are organizations that specifically work with individuals to find them the best place for them to be able to stay. And anything in the Bay Area is going to be expensive, though. Yeah. And that's just a given. So if your loved one can stay home, that's perfect. But when you start looking at it, I'm curious, the place that you were looking at for your mom, how much was it a month?
Well, that I don't know, but I did know that when I reached out, because I went with her to get my pops veterans assistance, and I was asking them about housing because her rent was going up, and they were like, well, if you're a widow, whether you, and the paperwork, whether you live in a facility, whether you live in a low income housing, whatever the cost is, they'll supplement it from whatever your income is coming in. So if she was getting $1,100 a month, they will give her the difference to cover the living assistance.
Really?
But you never got the price, though.
I never got the price because, I mean, we're not at that point yet, but it's good to know now.
I have another question when it comes to the resources. Are there resources you could find to get help with home care? Like, let's say you want to keep your family member home. Can I come to the association? Is there some type of resource pool that I can use to find help at home?
About the most well, we had a scholarship, which of course, now that funding is really drying up for almost everybody now. It's unfortunate. There are organizations, as I said, that we can direct you to that may be able to assist. But to receive direct assistance, our scholarship pretty much dried up when we didn't get any funding for it again.
But at least we could come for referrals if we need.
But at least you can come for a referral. Yeah. And one of the other things we were talking, and I didn't even get a chance to touch on this. We had up here in Northern California, actually, I think there were like 5 different states, but I know we were a big part of this study. It was called the U.S. Pointer. And I want you guys to do, if you get a chance to go and check that out. It was a 2-year trial, and they were the 2 groups. One was a structured group, and the other was not structured. The structured group, they had regular meetings. The diet. They had games. They really making sure that they were eating well, exercising, and using their brain.
Yeah.
The second group did not, but they did have to change their diet. So they changed their diet. They did that, but it was on their own. And just in those two, with those two groups, the structure that both of them actually were successful with the structure of changing your that just that intervention
Yeah.
of changing your diet and making sure you're exercising. So it goes back to the studies that we're doing are making an impact, but
Yeah.
it's just taking a lot longer than we would like.
Huh.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is get involved. go
Get
go.
involved.
Get involved.
Yes.
I have a
Now I
question.
appreciate that. Go ahead, Donald.
Are there any type of programs for if a family member takes in a family member with Alzheimer's or dementia that they qualify for, where they could get like, I don't know, some type of assistance from the government if they, utilize their own living facilities and take care of their own family?
Good question.
I'm so glad you asked, because that was one of the bills that we were pushing through so that we could actually get some type of subsidy for those individuals that are taking care of their loved one. And as I said, it's not only is the journey, not only is it emotional and mental, it can be physical, but financially can really because you can't work, or if you work, you've got someone that has to come in to be with your loved one while you're at work. So either way it goes, but yes, that is one of the bills that we actually are asking for, and I believe that it is at the House now to get but here's another one that's important too, another bill that we're trying to pass through. Well, we're trying to get it through California so that we can take it, so that it'll be worldwide or throughout the country. One of the lady, I'm also with Black Alzheimer's Association Advisory Council. One of the ladies in the council, her husband had Alzheimer's, and he, as I told you before, would get agitated. Men can get agitated. So he would get agitated. He was outside and he was raking leaves in the street. She went outside and she told him, don't rake the leaves in the street. No, rake them and let's put them in a pile and then we'll pick them up and we'll throw them away. Well, he became agitated. The neighbor saw it. The neighbor called the police. The police showed up. They grabbed him, slammed him on the ground, busted his head, and took him to jail. And he was in jail for the weekend.
Terrible.
There has to be intervention, some type of. So now what we have passed is there is additional training for police officers who are coming into a situation like that.
Yeah.
Because and it's good. The same goes for someone who's having a mental episode. You have to go in knowing what you're dealing with. Don't just assume. And she said she was blessed that they didn't shoot him because he was fighting back. How dare you come in my yard? And he's swinging, and they grabbed him and slammed him, but he was not himself.
No, and that's important, right? Because and that's some stuff that I never would have thought about that, right? And that can save somebody's lives. Veteran, Bobby brought that up earlier, right? PTSD. How do we know someone isn't having a PTSD episode, right? Same thing.
Exactly.
And maybe that PTSD led to some dementia. Now you got a mixed bag of a PTSD episode that's being triggered on top of some dementia. Yeah, I'm so glad that training is being pushed out there, especially, to help veterans too, Bobby, like you brought up earlier, to help, man, because we need this awareness so we can save lives, man. I'm glad you shared that. Real quick, because we're getting close to time. I'll start with you, Bobby. Did you have any last questions before we let Cheryl get on with the rest of her night out there in Cali?
No, but Cheryl, I'd like to stay in touch. That way, if something does come up, I want to try to be an advocate for my mom. She's also a disabled veteran, and she's kind of showing some signs, and I'm having a hard time getting her to come to the conclusion that she may need some help. She's like, what? I'm not old. No, it's not about you being old. I just want to make sure you're being taken care of. I'm afraid for something to happen and her not have the proper advocacy that she's going to need when that time comes. And so if you've got any additional advice, I'd be all ears.
Nice.
I say get your village together. That's what you need. You need your village together,
Mhm.
because you need to have everyone there so that you're all on one accord, that you'll be able to come up with your plan, with a plan. And you know, and it's like I said before, sometimes you don't want to accept the fact that something is going on, and then there are those that know that something's going on. When they get the diagnosis, it's like, whew, I knew something was wrong, but I just couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Definitely. Nah. Appreciate that. Hey, be that village. What you got? Any last questions, Donald?
No, I really want to thank you for, declaring the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, because that was one of my biggest questions I had coming into this was, what are the effects of dementia compared to Alzheimer's? But apparently it's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Is what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned
Dementia,
something.
yeah,
else too.
dementia is the umbrella, and then all of the other brain diseases fall underneath there. And dementia is basically anything that has your memory, your thinking, your speech. Yeah. But Alzheimer's just happens to be the most common.
Yeah. Corey, you got any last questions before we sign off for the night, sir?
I think she just answered it about the umbrella. So we know that there's Parkinson's that falls under dementia. There's Alzheimer's that fall under dementia. What about any other things that we may have heard of? Common names that we know that follows under dementia, because our viewers are watching.
Vascular. There's vascular dementia as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Vascular? And then we talked about the one that Bruce Willis has. Yes, vascular. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, and there's Lewy bodies. I almost forgot about Lewy bodies.
Okay. Can you give us a before we sign off, just a tidbit of vascular and Lewy bodies?
Okay, vascular, just what it says. It has to do with your blood flow. Usually, that's with people who have the hypertension and the yeah. Okay, so and then Lewy body is takes away your ability to words, just being able to speak in the middle of a conversation. It just vanishes. Parkinson's, about.
Like, what am I going to say? I knew I was about to say something, but it slipped my mind.
I got a question, man. All right. Sometimes I have a tendency of doing a freestyle statement where I'll just talk off the top of my head. And if you were to ask me to repeat what I just said, I wouldn't be able to repeat to you what I just said. Is that some form of dementia, Alzheimer's, or is that something different? Is that just me being in the moment, or do I have a brain problem? You think?
I would say you're just in the moment. I can't. I'm thinking you just in the moment. You said, I said it there. What?
You just in the moment, boy. I was like, oh, is he trying to get
happens to me a lot, man. All right.
There's a lot to this.
Maybe it's Tourette's.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
R.I.P. Bob Saget.
R.I.P. Bob Saget. No, this is wonderful. So one thing I'll ask Cheryl, man, leave us with one thought that you want anyone watching this to walk away from. What would that last thought be?
What would that thought be? Love your person. It's not them, it's the disease.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's yeah, man. Thank you for that. And again, I want to thank you so much for joining us, because yesterday, like I said, was Alzheimer's Awareness Day. We need to get this information out there. And at the end of the day, you started with love and we're ending with love. So make sure you love your person, and let's be a village, man.
Love your person.
Yeah, I like that. So just for anyone watching this with the replay, we got all your socials in the description below. By the way, when you go scroll down to get in contact with her, don't forget to click that like button and that subscribe button, because we are giving you news you could use. Come on now. Thanks again, Miss Cheryl Johnson. This was lovely. And then we also got the website in the description below too. So again, this was for our viewers to be able to get access to resources, get more educated so they could take care of themselves, take care of their loved ones. So that's it for the night. I'm feeling like there was some more questions that were bubbling up at the end. We're gonna have to get you to come back.
Yes.
Okay. Well, and the next time we want to talk about young people because they need to take care of themselves now. Don't wait until it's too late. Take care of yourself now.
Because I had a question about football players, but I think we should hold that.
Let's save that one for the next visit.
Let's save that one for the next visit. We'll talk football players and then upside the head.
Nah, I like that. No, that was wonderful. I think you gave us a lot to chew on. I would probably say my biggest takeaway is getting involved with those clinical trials because I find myself being lost in the moment a lot like Dr. Poole. But again, thank you. And anyone else who joined us, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, thank y'all for joining us Monday night. And that's it for the episode. Thank you, Miss Cheryl Johnson. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.